Surviving the Survivor. We bring you the best guests in all of true crime. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. It is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime on trending criminal cases. This one has been trending for the better part of 11 years, sadly. It is the Dan Markel murder. And the matriarch of the Dan Markel long, sad saga on the Adelson side is Donna Adelson, and she is set to stand trial in less than 2 months. For those who are not familiar with the story, Dan Markel was a rising legal scholar. He was a professor of law at FSU, married to a woman named Wendy Adelson. He's in his driveway in July of 2014, shot twice in the head, killed, and it is all through gumshoe police work, discovered to be connected to one gang member from right where I'm at, Miami Beach, linked to another career criminal, linked to that woman on the very bottom right, Katie Magbanowa. Those are the two career criminals, bottom middle, bottom left, Luis Rivera on the bottom left. And eventually they connected dots. That guy, Charlie Adelson, middle left here, was dating a woman on the bottom right who had children with the man in the middle. Yeah, if you're listening, you're going to have no idea what I'm talking about. And lo and behold, Charlie Adelson goes on trial for this murder for hire plot. He is convicted in under 3 hours. That is with the dinner break. 1 week later, Mama Donna, the prima donna, she is arrested, top left. And many people think that woman to the right of Dan Markel, Wendy Adelson, could potentially be next. Here are our best guests for this. We have famed Tallahassee criminal defense attorney, the letter R and O-U-R, Timothy Jansen, in the house, a current criminal defense attorney, and he might be working a lot longer than he thinks, since he has a daughter getting married and another one who's not married yet. But congrats to Tim on your Florida Gators, Tim Jansen. National champions. Next up, we got Darby Fox, a licensed family therapist. She deals in dysfunction and will help us sort through the Adelson dysfunction. She is seen everywhere you watch TV, the CNNs, the Foxes, you name it, she's there. And last but not least, a crowd favorite here, Dr. Roger Rhodes, the Oklahoma cowboy, now living in South Carolina. He too is a family therapist. Boomer Sooner. You didn't win a national basketball championship last night, Dr. Raj, but Raj does come to us from South Carolina.
Look up. We're going to be winning national championships in other areas. You've been watching our girls' softball team. They're kicking butt and taking names.
I will check them out. So we're going to dive into this. By the way, Tim asked a question that I would ask off air, and I'm going to now put it on air, which he wants to know if every time he watches a Gators game, Florida Gators, they lose. And if he doesn't watch, they win. And that's what happened last night. Tim Jansen, how long has this been going on for?
Well, this entire basketball season, including the SEC championship, I did not watch until my daughter told me that we're way ahead with like 30 seconds left. And I taped them so I can watch them after.
Dr. Roger Rhodes, can you respond? Is this narcissism that because I would think the exact same thing. I am highly superstitious. I feel like if I watch something, a team could lose. Are Tim and I just hopeless narcissists who think that the world revolves around us?
Not really. What you both are magical thinkers. You're the kind of people that run through a field looking for 4-leaf clovers and then finding one, think, oh, now I'm going to have the great luck. No, that's not how it works. But hey, if the Florida Gators get the lucky clover and it wins, yahoo, yay for them.
Yeah. Look, we're not the only ones. Rachel D says that that's a deal with her and the Detroit Lions. So There you go. So tonight, and right off the right out of the gates, I have to thank Tanika's 2 Cents. She has her own YouTube channel, interesting channel, and she gets a lot of interesting information, and she FOIAs a lot of stuff. And she, we reached out to get this, and I think it just kind of fell by the wayside at some point. But when Donna was first arrested, she was in Miami at a place called Turner Guilford Night, which is a notorious county jail. And then she was transported up to Leon County, her favorite place, which is Tallahassee. And Tanika was able to get the transport video. So we are going to be watching this transport video together. And we've got 2 psychologists, and that's for a reason. We're going to need help breaking down these psychological concerns, if you will, that the Adelsons seem to share with each other as an enmeshed family. So we're going to be talking about entitlement, and then you got Tim Jansen, who's going to be telling us what's happening less than 2 months, if you can believe it, less than 2 months away from Donna Adelson's trial. So before we get going, I mean, Darby Fox, I'm not the first one to tag the Adelson family with this, and I'm not the last one, but people say that they are both extremely full of entitlement, and they are enmeshed. Abby Crossing here, thanks for streaming all damn day and always going all in. Here's to all the thank you so much, Abby Crossing. By the way, I think this is the first time in history we are streaming 2 shows at once. The Lori Vallow Daybell trial, where she is a pro se defendant defending herself, is also happening on this very channel at this very moment. I'm hoping everyone will rush over here afterwards. But Darby, to you, how do you, from a sort of a psychological perspective, how do you define entitlement? What does this mean?
So psychological and am I echoing?
You sound like you're going in and out a little bit. Tim, are you hearing that?
That wasn't a good sound.
What's going on there? Did we just lose
like
Darby?
liquid plumber.
Hold on, she's there. Darby, you're there.
Okay, is that it? Is that better?
Yeah, you're better now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But so entitlement from a psychological perspective is a sense of deserving or belonging, like I deserve more. It's the great word entitled. I deserve more. And that can come from any root. It can be a deprived background. Like maybe I had some trauma in my early years, so I deserve more. Or it could be a family that really sees you, a very enmeshed family, but you are better than everyone, you're smarter than everyone, that you really don't have to follow the same rules. So entitlement comes psychologically, the perspective, it can be narcissistic, but there can be other traits. It's not just the same as narcissism.
Dr. Raj, I'd be remiss if I did not ask you, how, this family is interesting. They obviously, many families have dysfunction within them. This family definitely has it. I mean, one of the sons is estranged, which is interesting. I want to ask you about that. But how do you define entitlement, maybe differently or the same as Darby Fox?
In their world, they see it as a way to create a winning edge. That how do they overcome situations? How do they overcome other people? It's because they're better. They believe they're entitled to do that. They should be number one. And with that attitude, they walk in already believing they're a winner. And that becomes the family message, the family style.
Raj, I've never
can bleed over and look like narcissism, but I agree with Dr. Fox. It's not always that simple.
Yeah, Raj, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. I feel like you've had multiple careers. It's my intuition telling me this. Have you always been a therapist, or did you do something prior to becoming a therapist?
No, man. I've had many different professions and lived in many states and had very many different experiences. But um, probably at the core, I've always learned to show up and be me. And so whether I've been in Illinois or New Orleans or Georgia or South Carolina, this is Raj. This is what you get. And I've always had an Okie tinge to me.
You know why I asked that question? There's a lot of street smarts in your answer, I have noticed. What is another job or two that you've had in the past? And then I promise we will go on. We will move on.
Okay. I was in trucking for a while.
As in did you drive a long haul truck?
No, I supervised loading trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then for a while I supervised cleaning hospitals, so I did that for a while, and I've done all kinds of whatever it takes to get money to pay the bills. That was kind of my place. You know,
Wow.
bull's in the ditch. You got to do what you got to do to get the bull out.
This is why I love Raj. I'm going to tell you a 3-second story, and people yell at me for digressing, especially because the show hasn't started and it's not a Friday where we usually do this. But when I was living in Tucson, Arizona, where I met my beautiful bride, the COE, Mabel Rose, my beloved and departed now Puggle, who almost made it to 17, she went to Dog Day Adventures. This was a place run by a guy named Tom, and McKinney, and he spells it Thom if you live in Tucson. One of the coolest guys I ever met. He had a PhD in something very complicated, and he loved dogs so much that he became a long-haul truck driver around the United States so he could just be with his dog and hang out. And then when he finally settled down, he opened up Dog Day Adventures, and Mabel would get on her little school bus. It was this little van. He'd pick up about 30 dogs, and they would go running through the desert. And Mabel Rose had to get rattlesnake training, which they say a dog will never forget. And I used to be terrified that Mabel would get eaten or killed by one of the 10,000 dangerous things in the desert, from rattlesnakes to javelinas to whatever. But at the end of every Dog Day adventure, all 30 dogs would be sitting in a double row facing the camera perfectly for a picture. This guy was the actual dog whisperer, the real dog whisperer. Shout out to Dog Day Adventures. When Raj said trucking, it immediately reminded me of that. And now, Tim Jansen, we will go on with true crime here. You yourself look like you're about to just click off because of my digressions today. But Tim,
I'm used to
less
it.
than in less than 2 months, it is April 8th. On June 3rd, jury selection is set to start. What is Josh Zellman? What was he doing today? What was Jackie Fulford doing today? Look, Tim's rolling his eyes at me. And what is Georgia and Sarah Dugan? What are they doing?
They're probably hoping for a change of facts, hoping that the rules of evidence can be changed and that the crimes that she's charged with can be lowered before they go pick a jury. I spoke to Sarah Dugan. I had a case with her and we were talking, and she believes the trial will go as planned June 3rd. They're hoping to move forward and go. Discovery deadline is the end of this month, she told me. So you're going to see a lot of things, I think, filed by the end of this month, either motions or documents or things have to be turned over. So you're going to get a lot of information by the end of this month, but I think this trial will go. Josh and Jackie, who knows what they're doing? I don't know. Sometimes, I feel like when I go to Disney World, my kids get me on a ride I don't want to get on, and I only do it for my kids, and I close my eyes and just wait for it to be over. That's what I think that Jackie and Josh are thinking right now.
I just did that with my daughter at Disney on Tron, which is a roller coaster that you sit on a motorcycle. and it goes 60 miles an hour. I just closed my eyes and waited for it to end. Luckily, it was only 75 seconds. So this is the first clip of Donna Adelson here. I believe this is the first few minutes that she's being transported. And we are going to watch and we are going to analyze the psychologist and the defense attorney will analyze in depth. Here we go.
All right. Come on up. Watch your.
And I just have to say one more time, big thanks to Tanika's 2 cents. Check out her YouTube channel. She is the one who provided this to STS.
Step getting on this van. Take your time. I got you. There you go. I got you.
That looks
Step right there.
inviting.
There you go. Take your time.
Yeah, looks fun.
Watch your head. Watch your step. You good? Yeah. All right. Wherever you sit.
Wherever you want to sit.
You got 8 seatbelts on this van. Strap into any one of them. All right. I don't care which one you do it. Just make sure you strap into one. Pick any one. If it's that one, it's going to be on the other side. Look to your right. There you go.
I got it right there because Darby, I'm feeling my heart rate elevate. I'm claustrophobic. There are no windows in this thing. Donna Adelson is used to. She is used to, jet setting around the world. She was on her way with a one-way ticket to Vietnam when she was arrested at the Miami International Airport. You can tell that the people are being, that the officers are being incredibly kind, upbeat, if I may say, and they're letting her know that she's got 8 seats here. What, just at the onset here, what do you think is running through her mind, having basically lived a life of luxury? I mean, the son drove a Ferrari. She helped run a very successful dental practice in South Florida where they were making a lot of money and had real estate investment. So she's now ushered into this thing that has 27 doors on the back, no windows, what looks like how I would imagine like a mobile gas chamber to look. My mother was in Auschwitz, or not Auschwitz. My grandfather was killed in Auschwitz. I mean, this is crazy looking. What do you think is going through her mind right now watching this?
I actually think she seems timid and a little bit broken. This is pretty daunting. Certainly, I thought I wouldn't go all the way to the back. I would want to stay towards this end, or the front, I guess. It would be more claustrophobic. But I think that, and the way she is shackled, but she seems fragile and not like the person that you saw in the prior calls. And, even when she was arrested in Vietnam, those short clips on her way to Vietnam, those short clips showed a much bolder, embrazened person, where here she seems pretty fragile and just kind of broken.
Dr. Raj, what are you noticing here as she's getting in, taking the first steps into this transport van?
I think we're seeing one of her many roles. This is the role of decrepit old lady in the jail.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing that versus, jet setter versus business mastermind. I'm sure she has many different roles she has learned to play to her advantage. And that's what we're seeing. Why me? I'm this old lady. I'm going to the front of the bus. Poor me, And I love how the guards are being so nice to her as, she's unable to get into the carrier. What a bunch of hooey. Hooey. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just a role. I guarantee you, if you put her in a business suit, she'd jack people up in a second.
Tim Jansen, Jimmy McNulty with a legal question for you, and I got one. If Rashbaum is ordered to not have contact with Donna, can he still advise her on a personal level? They're friends. What about that, Tim?
No, he cannot. He's already conflicted himself out. He caused 2 lawyers to have to withdraw. He caused the investigator to have to be removed. I think he pretty much knows, maybe from his liability carrier that he needs at this point to stay out of this. I'm kind of surprised they have her in street clothes, right? They have her in street clothes and tennis shoes. Normally, when you transport an inmate, you would keep her in prison garb. So in case security reasons, something happens, she will be easily identified as a prisoner. So I'm kind of surprised. They usually just take their clothes and put it in the back. I figured it would be a van, but this is looks like very uncomfortable, claustrophobic. And you're talking about a 7 or 8 hour drive.
Yeah, well, we're going to see it unfold here in a minute. But Tim, I mean, just to your point, and that's a great point. Like, let's say, you know, somehow she's able to escape, and we've heard about that before. She looks like anybody else, minus, I guess, the cuffs, because she's not in a bright orange jumpsuit. But Tim Jansen, what about like the protocol here? I mean, this is a very high-profile inmate now on her way, like you said, for an 8-hour drive. Is this why she's alone? No one else is in there, so nothing else can happen. What about the typical protocol here?
Well, I can tell you, like the people that transported Charlie, that is their sole job. They do prison transport. There's usually 2 of them. And on this one, they're obviously trying to keep her from being seen in the car or anywhere during transport. So they have her in a completely enclosed vehicle. And I think they were rushing her back, so they weren't wanting to pick up other inmates and put her around them. They were going down there and get her and bringing her back. So I think they drove straight back.
I believe so. Mr. C saying it best, an 8-hour tour. All right, I'm going to play this out now. We're going to watch.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't know how she doesn't cramp up.
She just buckled herself in there, and audio is muted at this point, but we see this very shaky body cam. For those who are listening, we are watching, courtesy of Tanika's 2 cents, transport video of Donna Adelson.
Okay.
So they're going to have a camera on her, it looks like, the whole time. Oh, he's going to sit back there with her.
Feel bad for that guy.
I'd rather be the driver.
Have the cuffs are tight on it. No.
Time to give her the Academy Award.
All right, I got to stop her right there. So, Dr. Raj, an audible laugh from you.
Yes.
This is uncomfortable, I would say, to watch. The officer there asks her, "Are the cuffs?" I don't know if you guys all caught that. If the cuffs are too tight, and it's sort of how would you define this reaction? I would say it's sort of hysterical.
Yeah. Well,
not in a funny way, in like a upset way.
In a humorous way, you know, like, you got to be kidding me. Don't think she doesn't know she's on camera. Okay. So what we're seeing is a performance. This is, you know, terrible old lady. I couldn't have done anything wrong. Look how the system is treating me, you know, and so she's milking it for all she can. And I would think that's a great reason that she's the only one in the van. Because no telling the story she could come up with unless somebody was watching her all the time.
By the way, it might take us 8 hours to get through her transport video at the rate I'm going, but hopefully not. Tay says the shaking of her hand is straight BS. Darby, that's what I was going to ask you about. I'm going to just literally take it back like a hair here, just so we can see it. But she literally starts like borderline convulsing here.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming right up there.
Have the cuffs are tight on it. No.
Oh, man.
Darby, is that a real physiological reaction there, or is that to Roger's suggestion, just acting, but her hands are shaking, like, but it almost looks like they're shaking in an unreal manner, but I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to tell exactly, but it looks like a very hysterical acting. Like she's really, I mean, we could all make our hands shake pretty well. And the voice and the dropping back of the head, it's just so different from the other interviews of her that it's hard to believe she was that broken by any of this. I think she's very good at it. It goes with the entitlement piece where being a victim kind of quickly turns that tide of entitlement, right? I deserve everything. I'm the best. And then it can drop to being a victim if you don't get that. And that's what I think she's portraying right here.
Yeah, we're going to dive into that a little bit more. She did the shaking thing in court, and here, Dr. Reinhardt, who I believe might be a psychologist, Donna has never handled not getting her way very well. Ask poor Dan, ask Wendy. So there you go. Ativan withdrawal. This is Xanax withdrawal. Dr. Raj, I don't know what you know about addiction. Is this some sort of withdrawal from like an anxiety medication?
Well, it can be. I mean, there's a lot of explanation for what she's doing. But if she was competent to do all the things you talked about business-wise and interacting with people, I promise you, none of this behavior we're seeing was part of who she was. But as a defendant in a criminal case, this is the poor old lady, I'm innocent act.
So Joel, none of this will be admissible in the trial. Okay.
That was, yeah.
Unless she does some kind of a confession. Normally it's prejudicial to show a defendant in handcuffs. They do not allow it. It's too prejudicial. It will not be admissible unless she confesses or something like that.
Wow. So that was my next question. So we will not be seeing this as far as we know, Tim.
No.
And the jurors will not be seeing this. Okay.
No.
I'm going to play this out. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 of these clips. So here we go.
All right. Get this right here. Just got cuffs.
Is this part of what is going on here? What is going on here? What is going on? It's just, I'm mumbling to myself now.
Therapy will help that, Joel.
Yeah, I need help. COE is also gone. I don't know what's going on there. So
it's gonna start shaking like Donna.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to try to pull this back up, and we're going to see what happens here. Stand by, everybody. This is live TV. This is live TV, everybody. Is this my Wi-Fi? Is that what's going on? Hold on, everyone. The COE has sabotaged me. It's playing, but it's not playing. If that makes any sense, like I can see it. All right. Well, is that the COE doing this? I'm having delusional paranoia, Raj, right now. I feel what's going on here. I'm switching this off, and it's coming back on.
You're having withdrawal issues from the medication you're taking.
I am. So, Darby, you said something interesting, which I'm going to pivot to till I figure out what is going on here. And that is when someone who's entitled doesn't get their way, which is what we're literally seeing. Then it turns into victimhood. Is that like a universal truth? Because now she is appearing sort of, as this classic victim here.
Well, I think we see it very often. I don't know if it's a universal truth, but we see it quite often because it makes perfect sense. If you think you're better than everyone, which Dr. Raj explained, and you really think you deserve it, then the only other explanation is someone's done something to you unfairly. And what victimology always does is it allows you to not be responsible for what's happened to you. And so that she is acting out really well, right? She's not responsible for any of these things that are going on in her life right now. And she kind of believes it, right? She's at a stage where she believes that.
Yeah.
Nothing's being done to her. She doesn't really make the connection that she may have brought it on herself.
Yeah. Raj, what about that? I mean, same question. I mean, when you're this entitled human being and suddenly the rug is pulled out from under you, is your only recourse to then be the victim?
Okay, what you're really looking at is a power play, okay? Certainly, as Dr. Fox said, in entitlement, the power is to show power. But if I'm in a position of being overpowered, then what I look for is power in victimhood. And that's what she's doing now. She's exhibiting power in victimhood. What we would call poor me. She's playing poor me, sympathize with me, get on my side. She's playing to public opinion, hoping in some way, shape, or form that will affect the outcome of her case.
Raj, someone just said Julie Nielsen, shout out to Julia, not Julie. She writes in the chat, I want to leave this comment up, but she writes, she knows she's guilty. Do you think she is that self-aware that she does know that she did something wrong? What do you think?
I think she doesn't waste much time on that thought. I think she's using all her mental power to position success. That's where she is. She's looking for how can I position myself to win, Yeah. And there I would say that takes up more of her conscious thinking more than anything else.
Yeah, this is I think the COE on the controls here is it's not me, or it is a ghost. I'm not sure which. And this is the same video. I'm just going to let it play while we talk here. And we'll pick it up if we get the audio.
If it's that one, it's going to be on the other side. Look to your right. There you go.
I'm going to speed this up here. This is where we left off, everybody.
Oh, you gotta love this. You gotta love this. Oh, so bad.
There it is again. I'm starting to think that someone's out. COE, you're there. How are you?
Hi. Yeah. You know what? It might be a YouTube issue. I'm just realizing, even though Tanika did give us permission to use it, it might be YouTube pulling it down. Give me a minute.
Oh, it's great because our entire show is based on these videos. So, this ought to be a good one. So Tim Jansen, let me ask you. There are people out there who have voiced a little bit of concern. This is a very high-profile case.
Mm-hmm.
It has been on Dateline, I believe, multiple times. 2020, the Wondery podcast Over My Dead Body, which has like 30 million downloads. Is it going to be hard to seat a jury? I know you and I have talked about this, and I think you said in your 38 years there was only one change of venue. Is there a chance? Out in Salt Lake City or Park City, Utah, just yesterday, Corey Richens is accused of poisoning her husband. She requested a change of venue. They said no. And then the lawyers got a continuance because they wanted to re-prepare, I guess. Is there a chance? Is there a chance here that they either change the venue or they continue this trial because Donna Adelson does not get a change of venue?
Well, one, I don't believe they're going to get a change of venue. Tallahassee is a large enough community We have people moving here every day. You're going to find jurors who can sit for this jury who don't know anything about this case. People that have moved here, people that don't watch TV, they watch Netflix. And in Florida law is you have to try to sit a jury. You have to try, okay? You got a very experienced judge and he can ferret out. Sure, can people have heard about it? That's not the criteria. It's can you put aside what you've heard and only base a verdict on the evidence admitted in this case. That's a completely different standard than has anybody in the community heard about this. So I don't think they'll have a problem sitting a jury at all. This case is 11 years old. Some people have moved away. Some have graduated. You've got college kids here. It's going to be tried in summer. So you might not have the college kids. They might be home. So you're going to get, and a lot of the regular community, they go away. They go to the beach. They go up north. So I don't think there'll be a problem. Will you get more working people on a jury or retired? Probably yes.
Tim Jansen, I don't want to brag about my own podcast, but as you know, we are a global phenomenon. We are seen in the Kingdom of Lesotho, the Republic of Ireland, Mumbai. In this day and age, could you make the argument then that every potential jury pool is tainted because the world is watching Surviving the Survivor? I don't know about the other podcasts. And since the world is watching, it's global here, that any jury, let's say they wanted to move the trial to the Kingdom of Lesotho, they'd have trouble there because I have people watching my show.
Yeah, remember now, look at the Idaho case, the 5 kids murdered there. That town, they did change the venue. But you know why they did that? They did it because the courtroom couldn't accommodate it. The sheriff's department said they couldn't accommodate it. That town is much smaller than Tallahassee. And I would say the notoriety of that event was much more to that community than the professor getting killed here. Okay.
Yeah. Aria Dakota Grimaldi Lane coming to us from the UK. Glad she is feeling better. And Glenda Jennings, glad to catch you live. We love you back, Glenda. COE, let's try it. She thinks that we might be able to get this video up. The irony is that we'll lose our YouTube channel because of Donna Adelson's video.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, perfect response, Joel. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come here.
Darby, I'm going to stop it right here. This is obviously a different video clip now. You see there's a timestamp up there, the date, all of this. She is literally, I don't want to say hyperventilating. I don't know what she's doing. Darby Fox, what kind of psychological reaction is this? Keeping in mind what Roger said, she does know, I believe, that there's a camera on her. Is this, to you, does this appear, quote unquote, normal in terms of the stress that she is dealing with, or is this totally like hyperbolic and over the top in nature?
It's over the top in nature, and it's hard to keep doing that for 8 hours. You know, that's it. That she just originally got in there, and you see a little difference between one hand's almost still and the other one, and then it's almost like reminding yourself to keep going. It's just an overreaction, and I don't know at what point she stops. I don't think we have the videos for the whole 8 hours, but again, her attitude is more, although it looks very like woe is me, she's like annoyed. How could this be happening to me is more what she's saying. I am better than this. How could you do this to me? Look at where you've put me.
Poor me.
Tim Jansen, look at this comment from Shiraz.
Yep.
My physical therapist just moved here from Tallahassee, and she has heard nothing about it at all, not even the last name or the shooting. And Tim, I told you this, when I was up there with Steve Cohen, we went into some random stores and asked people, and they had never heard of this case. So to that point, and this comment, again, like it should not be overly difficult to seat a jury here, I don't think.
No, not at all. So they'll get a jury, and Judge Everett's not going to give them a change of venue.
And would he give them? I mean, is there a chance he gives them a continuance if they ask for it and don't get it?
No, I don't understand why you get a continuance. You're ready. You've been told to be ready for trial. Pretrial motions, discovery, all are done. All you now you want 12 independent people in that jury box, and you should be prepared to the 12 that gets selected. Why do you need a continuance? Because they're going to be in the same jury box where the courtroom is. I don't get why they got a continuance. I do not understand that. There's got to be something else, Joel, that happened in Utah.
I will. Yeah, we're thinking of doing a show about that tomorrow night, Tim. I'll let you know. Maybe you can join us once we try to figure this out. Oh, look at Adam Lamparello. This is an interesting comment. Tim, I'm going to let you take this one.
Yes.
Honestly, you post this video of her and mock her. I don't think anyone's mocking her. I think we are looking at this. I think it is a little disturbing to everybody, assuming she's guilty. But what if she isn't? What if she just was an accessory after the fact? Tim, first of all, she's an accessory after the fact. Is she still guilty? That's number one. And number two, does Adam raise a good point here? Is there a chance that this woman is innocent? I mean, I would say there are a lot of bad facts. What would you say?
Well, obviously, this is what I've been doing, the criminal defense, for 30 years. Everybody's entitled to a trial. She is not guilty while she's sitting in there. She is not going to be guilty till a jury finds her guilty. Now, I don't know if people are mocking her, but I think what you have to remember is she's a very cunning, manipulative woman, a very smart woman. She raised very controlling. She raised very well-educated young kids. Well, not young anymore. She is in full control everywhere she goes. Remember, she's been on national game shows. Okay. She enjoys the limelight. This is not some 19, 20-year-old girl. She's a very clever, very smart person. And I think she is not happy. I think she is, of course, unhappy in her plight. But, and none of this is going to be played to the jury. They're never going to see any of this. This is just for the talk, for her behavior. So I agree she's not guilty at this point. So I don't think anybody's, I know that, look, we judge people every day. You go to an airport, you look around, you watch people, and we consciously judge people by how they walk, who they talk, but we're not really mocking her. People are people. That's it. People watching is something we do. And sure, I think she got a little crazy. She was perfectly fine getting in there. And only when she got down and he asked her about the handcuffs, then she started doing this gyrating. So I think that was not real.
Yeah. Adam Lamparello, by the way, I appreciate the comment. And I think he is an attorney, raises a good point. Harold, anything but dull, has been all over this story. I think he's even going to go to the trial. Tim, this is a you question as well. Wendy claimed at Charlie's trial that the transcript of her police interview was not accurate. If she makes that claim again at Donna's trial, how is it resolved?
Well, they can file motions to say that the transcript is incorrect. They could request that the actual audio recording be played in lieu of the transcript, or they can prepare their own transcript and have an expert come in, and they could give the jury dueling transcripts. But what happens when that happens, the judge usually instructs them, you listen to what's on the audio and you make the decision.
Adam is trying to litigate this in the chat, which I see. I'm not going to go into all Adam. I may appreciate it, but I'm not going to go. There are plenty of bad facts against Donna, plenty, and you know that. I mean, and the list is too long to even get into it right now. But from Double A here, Joel, just because one says they know about the case is not reason to cause to be dismissed as a juror. One can say that they can still be fair, impartial, and only consider the evidence presented at trial, which is all true. And that's a good point. So even if they heard about it, there you go. Now, Tim, this is another interesting point, and I promise we're going to keep playing these out, but there are some great questions here. Adam, go to the trial. I see you looking for more evidence. From Brooklyn, can she stand trial? Tim Jansen, is there a chance that they try to play some sort of, and she hasn't shown this in court, I don't think, and this, keep in mind, is right after she's basically a week after she's initially arrested, but could there be a case to be made at some point that she's not fit to stand trial?
Well, they would have to file a motion that she's not competent to proceed or she's physically unable to proceed. But then they're going to they have to file something. And that's got to be done. Motions have to be filed by the end of this month. Pretrial motions. The judge is not going to allow a last minute trial in May that's saying she's not competent. I think Donna is too proud to say she's not competent. She wants to get on that stand and claim her innocence. I fully expect to see her testify at her trial.
Okay, so I'm going to keep playing this out. There are a lot of questions, and they're really good ones. So put them in triple Qs in caps, and after I'm done with each clip, I'll scroll to the bottom and try to get as many questions in as possible. In the meanwhile, we're going to continue to watch this video. I think when someone says that we're mocking her, I think the psychology here is that it's not easy to watch, and I think humans react in funny ways, which is sort of a nervous reaction. And I
Wait
think
a
that's
minute,
what's going.
Joel.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
say one thing about this? I think some people see it as mocking when in fact it's the defense of people who really have an issue. You know, there are real people with real issues that really struggle. And it is offensive when you see people using or mimicking behavior that's not really theirs, but they are using it as a way to move their agenda. And that's really what we're saying here. This is not what real people with real issues look like when they're under these circumstances.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. That's why we have Raj on. This is why he's no longer doing loading for trucks. That's why he's a therapist now. Here we go.
Right around with what I mean.
So, Joel, just a point. Even if she's convicted of accessory after the fact, the first degree murder, she'll spend the rest of her life in prison. She's 76 years old, 75. She'll spend the rest of her life in prison, even if she's convicted of only accessory after the fact.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's watch this bad boy here. That might be experiencing the same issue right there. So Darby, I mean, is it, I guess the question is it normal for a quote unquote normal person? I wouldn't call myself normal, but as I'm watching that, I'm experiencing anxiety. I'm experiencing like discomfort. What is that we're watching this person and I'm feeling a little bit, I guess, of what she's feeling, but probably in a different way.
Yeah, it might be different, but it's uncomfortable. Even if it's not really that authentic, it's still uncomfortable to watch her struggling. And I think we all think a little bit, is she going to be okay? Or is this there? It's questionable, right? You don't just clearly say, and she's acting and write it off. There's an element of discomfort to the notion that she could be struggling. But again, then you kind of go back quickly to what's this all about? Like these kids lost their father, like a husband, whatever. So it's uncomfortable because we don't like the notion of suffering, but it doesn't make it more real.
Good distinction there. Abby Crossing to Tim here. Do you know if the state has included lessers in her case? Does she face lesser charges, Tim? Do we know?
Well, what happens is she's going to be charged with what's in the indictment. And then as the trial goes, after the case is over and all the testimony, then the judge will look at jury instructions and they'll say, okay, what do you want to ask? What do you think the facts fit? Do you want lessers? Do they want lessers? And then the judge will make the final determination whether the facts require it and whether the parties request it. I would think if she gets up there and says, I was only helping Charlie after what he told me happened, then they might ask for a lesser included accessory after the fact. But I don't think she's going to do that. I do not think she's going to do that.
Julia's asking, and then we'll get to the Brooklyn Jan in a minute, but Julia's asking Tim, because last time you said you had some information about how much Jackie Fulford, who's the female defense attorney, is making, but someone's asking if Josh Zellman, that is Julia Nielsen, is asking if Josh Zellman is getting paid separately, which I assume.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. He's going to get paid separately than Jackie. They're not part of the same firm. And in fact, I think that Josh was hired first, and I may be wrong, but they're being paid separately. But my understanding is Donna is really close to Jackie, and Jackie sees her a lot individually.
By the way, Adam Lamparello is no troll. He's actually a good dude. He's been in here many times. I do believe he's an attorney, and I think he is just this is his opinion, which he is definitely entitled to. Brooklyn Janet says she's not acting. She's feeling absolutely miserable. I mean, Darby, I think that there is an element of truth there. You know, there is like the actions may not translate to I don't know, our state of mind, but to her state of mind, maybe it is translating, and that's why she's shaking like this.
Yeah, I mean that could be true. I think to notice that she wasn't shaking when she went in, and then she sat down and kind of realizing what she's doing, what she's up for. It starts sort of suddenly. Of course, she feels horrible, but it does seem exaggerated. It doesn't seem consistent, particularly when we know this is an 8-hour trip. She's not going across town. Like, how is she wasn't shaking or trembling when she got in there or went and sat down and buckled her seatbelt, and then it all started when he started to talk to her, and the moaning started to kind of begin too. I do think it's authentic to her from the perspective she feels she's being mistreated.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I think that is true. Gia and TJ's mom here has a different take. I'm feeling anxiety over her acting, so am I. I don't believe she's struggling in a real way. She's struggling because she knows she's guilty. I can't believe anyone would see it any different. I mean, Raj, does this reaction just all go back to sort of the overarching theme of this this show tonight, which is the entitlement of the Adelson family? So here's a family that's pretty much always gotten what they wanted. They wanted to get rid, you know, and Charlie's convicted of this, and allegedly Donna wanted to get rid of Dan Markel as well. And now that she's paying the price for that, she's having this crazy reaction. So is it a reaction to the reality of her experience from being quote unquote entitled?
Well, one of the things as therapists we want to think about is a thing called baseline. You know, how do people regularly act? How does a person regularly act, or this person regularly act under stress? And I believe we could see things on film of where she's been under stress and she's behaved a particular way. But when we see something, number one, that she knows she's on camera. Number two, it doesn't start out that way, but it develops that way. It begins to show a direction of what she's trying to project to other people. And the bottom line would be called poor me. I want to be looked at as delicate and overstressed, and this is terrible. And us just, what we then do is we bring ourselves into the story. Okay. And we begin to think, what would happen if we were in that van? What would happen if we were in that court situation? And so we identify that way. But what you want to look at is how has she, throughout her experience of many things, behaved? and how is she behaving now? And is what we're seeing on film right now, would that be under the umbrella of authentic?
So Joel, I say you look at people in a stressful situation when they don't know they're on camera. Now, I don't know if Darby or Roger has seen her during the bump, where the FBI bump came to her on the street, approached her with a note demanding money. She was so calm and so collected. She didn't shake. She took the note, looked at him, put it in her pocket, and walked as if she had not even met the person, and then called. And then she later called the undercover and had a conversation and stuck to her script the entire time. So she's a calculating, clever woman.
There we go.
That's her.
That's a great point. COE, I don't even know if you're here because I thought you were going out, but if you are and you can pull that video of the bump real quick, that would be a very interesting contrast. But look at this from my mother's home country, Serbia, Darinka Popov, Novi Sad. That would be hello. I know 0 words in Serbian, which is embarrassing since my mother is from there. Big hugs to your wonderful, brave mom. Tim, question. Do you think Harvey will testify? My sincere condolences to the Markel family. I think she's acting and buying time. That is possible. Tim, are we going to see Harvey get up on the stand as almost like a character witness for Donna to say, she's a sweet woman. She's been married to me for 837 years. She was on whatever game show she was on, Jeopardy or whatever it was. And she's a lovely person. Are we going to hear that?
No, that's not going to be heard. If he testifies, he can't be in the courtroom. He's going to be in the courtroom for her. He's going to be there to be support to her. He may testify early, but he can't be there if he's going to testify. I think he may more come in about the trip to Vietnam if he's going to try to soldier some of the responsibility. But I think people are going to find out when the facts come out that Donna used a third party to buy the tickets in his credit card so they wouldn't be uncovered by the FBI. These are actions of someone cunning, clever. This is not and it's the state. All they got to do is prove her actions. When she didn't think people were watching, what was her actions?
That company is Indochina Sun Travel. Tim, another question for you. Then I'm getting to Darby, and then we're going to try to play some more. This could be the last STS show ever because we're playing Tanika's video with her permission. But YouTube, look, this is what Roger Rhodes. Please allow me a moment.
Yes, sir.
In 2025, I can't just call 1-800-YouTube. There's no humans there that actually answer a phone. So I could just lose this entire channel tonight because of some AI algorithm. Is AI going to destroy this entire world, Roger, in your opinion? Is it over for people?
I've got to check with my best friend, Elon Musk, to let you know that answer. Now, who knows? Lord, a meteorite could come down and blow us all up tomorrow.
By the way, a meteorite.
Doom and gloom doesn't play. The bottom line is one of my number one sayings: do the doable, and the doable is surviving the survivor. We're doing the doable. We're letting you know, front and center what we feel about what's going on. And that's what you do, and that's what you do until you can't do it anymore.
I need to make a shirt that says 1-800-YouTube. There are no more humans to call. We are all on our own. If the channel disappears tomorrow, it's because of Donna Adelson's transport video. It would be a full circle moment where she comes back and destroys me after we've been destroying her on air for a long time. Darby, back to entitlement. Psychologically, at the root of it, is this learned behavior? In other words, did Donna learn this from her mother, who learned it from her mother? Now Wendy is learning it from her, as did Charlie. Or is it, I don't know, like something in the DNA that's passed on? What do you think?
I think it's a lot learned behavior. I mean, DNA is kind of, I don't think that entitlement is in your DNA and or which chromosome it would be on. But I think that entitlement is a learned behavior, and it comes from really being propped up when you're young. And what happens is we see that people don't really develop a strong sense of self. Everything is an external world and they're giving them approval, right? So mom is telling her kids, Wendy, Charlie, you're so amazing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That is all exterior coming in. And what happens is people who are very entitled don't have a very high self-esteem. And that's kind of similar to narcissism, but where they can't even look at themselves in a real light because they can never really acknowledge that they're less than. So that is a very learned behavior. And the way it becomes so ingrained is because it's done over and over and over from the earliest ages. We saw similar stuff, Joel, when we talked about the real estate brothers.
Yeah, the Alexander brothers. Yes.
Yeah, the Alexander brothers. It's a very similar thing. And it's expected. It's who I am. It becomes your identity. I expect to be treated and seen in such a way because I really don't have a great sense of self.
Yeah. Raj, I'll ask you the same question to get your take. Entitlement, nature or nurture? Was it learned or is it just who you are? Are you born that way?
In simple terms, monkey see, monkey do. The little monkeys look at the big monkey, and then they're all a bunch of monkeys. That's simple terms there. That's how it plays. You know.
Oh.
No, I mean, yeah, it's what's called learned behavior, and the bigger people have what would be considered the knowledge, and the younger and impressionable people watch that and mimic that, and that becomes who they are. And that's what we've seen here. That's what we see in many dysfunctional family systems, is that in their world, and like we're saying in her world, is she quote unquote normal? And in her world, has she done the normal thing? And the answer is sure. But we don't live in her world. We live in this world. And in this world, what she's done is illegal. And what she's done is, what we're showing is some of her ridiculous behavior.
The COE is doing something magical back there. She's got to load and reload the clips. From Sam I believe it's a full-blown 100% panic attack. She's talking about me, not Donna. But let me see here if let me see if so COE, are you saying I can play this clip now? Tim, while I'm waiting, she said yes. Before I'm going to get there in a moment. Tim, there was another question for you, and that is, and we had the great Phil Waters and Scott Duffy break down Wendy Adelson's police interview. Is that going to come in? Is that, do you think, going to come in to Donna's trial? How does the proverbial door open for that potentially?
It depends if they needed to impeach Wendy. I don't believe they can impeach Donna with Wendy's interview. But I think if Wendy goes off the rails or tries to protect her mom or says something that's different than what she said on the interview, I think they could probably play it for her and to impeach her.
This is a great question. I love this question. How much of this Adelson family attitude is a Miami thing? I live in Miami. I don't know how to take that. Raj, to certain people in certain geographic locations, I won't say anything about Oklahoma, but here in Miami, you got a lot of wealthy, entitled people. Do people in Miami act differently than people in Oklahoma, I guess?
Sure, everywhere. If you travel around the country, you see different behavior from different people, and how even the food they eat and the way they eat food, the way they drink and the level that they drink is different in different areas of the country. It's just wild. We're one country, but we're a lot of different little countries within the big country. And so is Miami a thing? Is Miami attitude a thing? Yeah, just like Dallas, Texas is a thing. Just like Tucson, Arizona is a thing. There's a thing everywhere, and it's all different, but it's the same.
Yeah.
the one thing that probably binds everybody together is dysfunction. Dysfunction is everywhere. I mean, people are not well across the country, and that's the one thing that kind of marks everybody together. But every area has their flavor.
Darby, let me ask you on the heels of that. I mean, are there families in America that are not dysfunctional? It seems like every family that you meet has some element of dysfunction in it.
That's a great question. I think there's an element in dysfunction in every family. I think that almost kind of determines family, right? It's varying degrees and huge, wide spectrum of what you can see and what can be experienced. But I think there's always something that's a little dysfunctional in each family.
Dr. Raj, should we, as a species, should we just stop procreating and maybe just let AI take over the world? Is that a better option?
No. Boy, it is in our differences that makes life worth living. It's being able to interact with different people in different ways, just like on this show. You're better for it. It makes you a better person the more exposure you get in different places. The fact that I was raised in Oklahoma, educated in New Orleans and Illinois, and been all over the country, I believe that has enhanced who I am, no matter where I was born. So I think that when people, you don't need to AI hooey, nothing's going to beat. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody said boomer on the thing, but beachside boomer.
Beachside boomer. That's a great name. Beachside boomer.
Yeah. Sooner born, sooner bred.
I got this next clip. The COE says there's two. I only see one, but I'll play this one. Here we go. This is Donna Adelson being transported from Miami-Dade up to Leon County. It was an 8-hour trip, and when we're all said and done here, it'll be longer than that.
You think you might be able to use the rest?
Go and tell them I have the enmeshment. I'll check out. I will check out.
All right. So, Tim Jansen, let me go to you first here. In that clip, it was a little hard to hear because it like stutters a little bit, the proverbial videotape there. She is basically telling him she's not feeling well. And I think the one officer says to the other officer, you got to go get EMS or make a call. And I presume that they're just stopped on the side of the road somewhere. Legally, I guess, from a legal perspective, if your client is being transported, she'd have no way to contact you. But let's say she contacted you and said, hey, I'm either having a panic attack or a medical episode. What do these people have to do? They did call EMS. I'm hoping to show that if we have the clip, but what are they obligated to do here?
So her health, her safety is in their hands. They're responsible. If she has a medical issue, they have to get her first aid, or they have to give her first aid. They properly called EMS. Let the professionals come out, make a determination. We'll take her to the hospital if we need to, or if you say she's okay, and that's how they proceed. I think they understand. You could tell the officers were acting pretty good. They understand the significance, and they know they're on tape. They know it's being recorded. So, you hope they act that way all the time, but clearly I think what the officers were doing was completely proper. They called EMS, they pulled over, and I think that's right.
Yeah. Hopefully we're going to be able to show that to you in a moment. Do we have this is an other clip, so I'm going to play this because I want to get through these. So let's watch this one, and then got a question for Darby.
Take a look at you, okay?
This is what the COE looked like with COVID the other day. Um, I I don't even know what to say there. It's actually fascinating to me. I'm trying to understand in her own mind, Darby, if she is really experiencing such trauma at this point, like from this experience, that it is actually creating this physical experience, or she is simply, as Raj said, is kind of playing to the cameras, because she does appear to have a very physical reaction, but the physical reaction does not look genuine to me. It looks made up, but maybe some people, that's just the way their physical reactions are, that they don't look real. Am I making any sense? No. But what do you make of this last reaction?
I mean, I think that's true, that it could not look real. When you watch that clip, I think she's absolutely in a certain amount of distress. I mean, I think she cannot believe that anybody would treat her that way and have her in that position. But you do see sometimes where like there's a lot of shaking there, and then you'll see complete stillness through the upper body, and then a shaking again, or that's a pretty controlled head motion. It's hard to tell from this angle, but she looks pretty present too with her eyes. It just, she could be nervous, she could be anxious. You sit next to people sometimes where they've got their legs moving all the time. I'm not saying that her motions aren't real. I'm saying that I think it's an exacerbated presentation, and I think she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, and those are excellent
She's
points.
uncomfortable, but
Yeah, I mean, what Darby just said is really important, I think. Dr. Raj, like Darby just mentioned, like her hands are going haywire, but the rest of her looks fairly controlled. So it's not like the body is working in sync naturally. Is that sort of a telltale sign that maybe this is not genuine, or is it?
Well, again, I go back to baseline. How do we regularly see this woman behave under severe stress? And I love how Mr. Jansen said, get the professionals, get EMS there. They're going to settle this down real quick. Either it is or isn't physiologically, okay, not psychologically. Could she, and the question from therapists is, could she jack herself up to be able to act this way? You better believe it. Have we seen that in our careers? You bet we have. But once you bring in the medical people, I guarantee you it becomes very black and white quickly.
Yeah. This is actually, to me, very fascinating. Tim Jansen, people, like you said, they're not going to see this video. And by the way, we're going to wrap in just a couple of minutes. The COE is loading up the EMS clip, which I want to share with you, and then we'll get some final thoughts. But Tim Jansen, I wasn't laughing at Donna. I was laughing at Raj, laughing at me. They're not going to see any of this, so they don't know Donna from a donut or a hole in the wall. They don't know who she is. So, if you're defending her, are you going to have, asked you this before too, I think, but are you going to have her hair up in a bun like Ned Smith? Are you going to have her coming in potentially in a wheelchair with a sweater with a little frou-frou things on them, like, and a blouse with a pearl necklace on? Like, are they going to make her look like this demure old, well-to-do woman? How could this possibly be from this type of a person? Are they going to create this character of her that the jury will not be able to buy, could possibly have done this?
Well, I don't think they want her to be looking like a well-to-do woman, because then they no sympathy for a well-to-do woman who could have hired a hitman to take care of her issue.
I meant this. How about the grandma look? That's better.
Well, they'll
better
do the grandma look. I don't know if she'll be in a wheelchair. She'll be dressed conservatively. I don't think she'll have any jewelry on. They don't allow any jewelry. And I think she's going to look plain. I don't know about hair up versus hair down. I've never really done that in a trial where I had a defendant where I said, put your hair up or put your hair down. So I don't, but I don't know. She'll be in a wheelchair by that point. But she didn't look very well. Her hair's not going to be done like she likes it. So I doubt she's going to want to show much of her hair because it's going to be gray. And she's gained weight. So I wonder if the clothing she tried on months ago will fit now. You know, she might have to get a refitting. She's the first defendant that I know that got a fitting at the courthouse with deputies standing by while she tried clothes on.
I have to stop everything for this comment from Corrine Falcone. There's no better Jersey name than that. Just had some tasty subs, spelled correctly, by the way, and thought of you, Joel. For those who do not know, and Raj does not, and Darby does not, and Tim does not, this is the greatest sub/sandwich shop in the great state of New Jersey. So good that when President Obama was president, he actually stopped by. It is literally like a trailer home that's a sub shop. And you go there on Sundays, and there's lines around the building to get in. You order everything by a number, and Jersey Mike's is basically a version, wannabe version of Tasty Subs. Let me just put it that way. So,
and all I've got to say is that's why they eat barbecue on a plate with beans in Oklahoma.
So, Corrine, I'm jealous, and I can't remember the last time I was at Tasty, but it was the last time I was home. Great place. Okay, here we go. Tasty, if you want to sponsor us, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. This is now EMS. Apparently there's no video. I mean, no audio, but video. Let's watch. Okay, so now EMS is in here. We do not have the audio. You can see the physical reactions that appear to have gotten worse. The paramedic is there. By the way, kudos to these paramedics. I mean, they see everything. Tim, I can't see what county that says, but
I didn't see it either.
Yeah. But they obviously
said Ocala.
Man.
What's it say?
I think Donna's holding the camera.
Something community.
So someone let us know what county. But Tim, is this, they're obviously not able to stop on the side of a road. It looks like they're at another jail. Is that what they would have to do? Make the stop and meet? It's Ocala.
It does look like it's some kind of a facility. It could be where they go into a facility. It's secure right before you get into the institution that they can treat her, and it's in a closed, secure location. And I think that was a good move because they have medical there. It's completely secure. The public aren't going to be able to walk up to it. Mm-hmm. And you're right. The EMS, they're going to figure it out real quick. They'll take all the vitals of her and see if this is all true or just BS. And if she needs help, they're gonna take care of her. She'll go to the hospital.
And to that point, Darby and then Raj, and then we'll get final thoughts. I mean, Darby, again, we're talking about entitlement while watching this video, and Donna basically had everything her way. And if these allegations are true and she's convicted in a court of law, it'll be because she wanted her family to live in Miami, not Tallahassee, where she's now stuck. Is this kind of an act of desperation here, a last-ditch effort at freedom? At least if I can't go home, take me to a hospital, just so long as I don't have to be in jail, especially in a city that I hate, which is Tallahassee.
I don't know if it's that desperate. I think she thinks further down the road, like, I really do think it's more about how can this be happening to me? This isn't like, how could people be doing this to me, putting me in the back of this van with no windows, I think it's more consistent with what's happening to her in the moment. I really don't think it's about the entire thing, because as Tim has spoken to, he expects her to take the stand and sort of claim her innocence. Like, she wants her moment. So I don't think it's that. I think she can't believe people are doing this to her. And in that sense, it can be very real that she's having panic or stress. It isn't that, but it's not, it is definitely exaggerated.
Yeah. Dr. Raj, I guess, what are you thinking while watching this? I mean, is it an effort by her to just another way to control the narrative, to get out of this incarceration by,
Yeah.
if I can't have it,
Yeah,
completely my way, I'm going to do this so I can go to the hospital instead?
Well, the bottom line is, in this, watching all this to the end, well, you have to ask yourself, who's in control? From the time she gets in and to this moment, who's controlling the narrative? Who's creating the story? And what you come up with, it's her. She's doing that. And when you realize that the court people won't get to see it at all, it's like, wow, the importance of controlling the moment, and, being overwhelmed. What am I doing here? Well, if this is where I'm at, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to control the moment. That's what I think.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. Thank you to the amazing panel tonight. Apologies for some of the hiccups with the video, but this is live YouTube. Things happen. Can't tell you the amount of things that have happened to me on live television that I've had to adjust to. Some embarrassing, some humiliating, never good, whatever they are. But for those who do not know, now you know Darby Fox. She is a licensed therapist from the great state of Connecticut. Great human being. She joins us often, and she does a lot of punditry as well as practicing therapy, family therapy. Darby, I'm going to leave it open-ended. There was a comment up. Imagine what prison will be like for Donna if it gets to that point and she's convicted. I mean, how long is she going to last there? And your final thoughts?
I don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult for her. You already saw when she was trying to get her clip and I don't know if she was trying to get moved to a different facility, but when she was saying that she was being chastised by the inmates and she was being touched, and she's not used to that. She doesn't like that at all. So she's going to have a hard time in prison once she gets there. And this kind of behavior won't really do a lot for her.
Yeah. Darby is awesome from some rando. And then I saw, where was it? Go Huskies. The Yukon women won the NCAAs, as they do every single year. So congrats to them. Dr. Roger Rhodes, he practices in Greenville, South Carolina, but he is Oklahoma born and bred. I knew Dr. Raj was not a therapist his entire life. I knew that he had many interesting facets to this interesting character. I'll find out the 73 other jobs he has had off camera. Dr. Raj, the trial is 7-8 weeks away, 7 weeks. Do you think Donna thinks she's getting off of these charges realistically in her mind? Is she saying they're never going to get me? And your final thoughts?
Ooh, buddy, that's a toss up. Could she be delusional, is what you're saying? Believing that it's going to go her way against all the backup of what's been going on. It could, but she's going to have to work real hard mentally to create that vision in her head. I think she's coming to the realization of her life's basically gone. And that's part of all this. I just think she's at the cornerstone of everything. I think she's overwhelmed. And I think that will follow through with the court case. I think she's going to stay overwhelmed and do whatever she can to create her control of the narrative.
Yeah. Josephine Santamoro, she's had a few strokes lately and is recovering from that. She's normally in good health, a ER nurse in Westchester County, New York. And she is telling us, Joel, it's typical for inmates to play sick. They just want some time away, but they don't fool anyone but themselves. As we know, Donna did wind up at the Leon County Jail. So whatever this medical stop was, it was brief and over with quickly. Tim Jansen, you are the famed Tallahassee criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, the best hair in the business, great guy, a Florida Gator. They are the men's national champions. You said we're going to get a lot more information this month with motions filed. Give me a look into your crystal ball. What are some of the things we could find out, and your final thoughts?
Well, I think people are underestimating Donna. Donna's a chameleon. Okay. Donna is going to be ready for trial. Donna's going to, we didn't think Donna would survive after we saw, when she got arrested at the airport. She survived perfectly fine. In the jail, she had people taking care of her. She, maybe she did have to pay some money for some inmates, some canteen, but she learned the system. She's going to go in that courtroom and she's going to basically claim that she fled because she was afraid she couldn't get a fair trial, that her son was convicted, that she wasn't going to get a fair trial. And she's begging them to listen to the evidence and not rely on some trip because I was foolish to leave with my husband because I was afraid. But now that I'm here, I want to show you how I'm innocent. That's the only chance she has. And I think she's smart enough. That's what she's going to play.
Someone's just asking about Carm. Thank you for asking. That is my beloved mother. For those who are new to the show, child Holocaust survivor, licensed therapist. If you haven't heard, I've written a book about her. It'll change how you see life. And she is in the Holy Land. That would be Israel. I said to her, I'm like, Carm, why are you going to go? There's crazy stuff happening there. And she said, I don't give a S about anything. I'm going. I'm 85, almost 86. What are they going to do to me? I said, make sure you get into the bomb shelter if you need to. She said, don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. And so that's how we left it. The COE has a final clip. I have to play it or I will get in trouble at home. I will be in San Quentin East, which is Fred's home. That's his crate. But this is the final 30-second video in case you have not had enough Donna Adelson. Here's 30 more seconds of no video. And they've got the, no audio. And why is this guy's face redacted? That's interesting. He's a top secret paramedic, or there's someone in the back of the ambulance. But anyway, you see her on the stretcher.
It looks like they're taking her to a facility.
Yeah,
because they got her on the stretcher.
Yeah, I think maybe they took her to the hospital. If anyone knows, let me know. But she is on a stretcher for those who are listening, and she's being wheeled into the back of a red ambulance, and that's where it stops. That's the final 30 seconds of Donna Adelson's trip up to Tallahassee. Her in Tallahassee, just it's like oil and vinegar, or oil and water, not oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar I could go for on a salad right now. Anyway, appreciate you all being here. Love you, America. I've officially run out of things to say. Darby is great. Dr. Roger Rhodes, love having you. Tim Jansen, you are a rock star. We will see you all tomorrow night. Lori Vallow Daybell coverage all day long. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, join Patreon, send the COE flowers, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. We will see you tomorrow. 2 p.m. Lori Vallow. You ever heard of court starting at 2 p.m. Eastern time? That's when it starts for Lori Vallow. Go figure. See you tomorrow, everybody.